change it back. Andrew, thank you, sir, for that. A qualified voice as a man who's been there at the coalface of this very scenario. Simon is in Northampton. Simon, how are you doing?
Good afternoon, Ian. Good to speak to you again.
And you too. What are you thinking?
Well, I've got a slightly different viewpoint on this, because I think one thing people have forgotten about is there's the case of people like that gentleman, Andrew Malkinson, who got wrongly convicted. And what I was thinking of, putting myself in his place, if you've been so wronged by the system and at every stage you then get dragged up to court to be told you're now going to prison as well for something you haven't done, I appreciate it's a very small percentage of the population that will happen to. You then give them, that would be their only soapbox to get their voice out into the public and say, look, I've been wrong, this is what's happened. And I think what that can then do, much as you're saying, will it become a thing? What you're going to see is anyone that thinks, oh, if I do that, people might think I'm innocent and I've been wrongly convicted. You'll get people grandstanding in court. So they're like, well, I've got nothing else to lose. I might as well just use this as my opportunity to get my voice out there.
But I suppose, I don't know what the system is at the moment, but I think our previous barrister, Simon, alluded to it, that if the judge said, look, if you kick off, you're going to lose the privileges you're going to get in prison, like visits and that kind of stuff. So if you start shouting in my courtroom, nobody will visit you for a year. And that kind of thing, would that work?
I mean, I get that. I just think I put myself in a position, if I think, you know what, I've got no faith left in the system, I didn't do something, the evidence is all against me, the police have lied, everything's happened, is that really, I've got that much more to lose? What would I rather do? Just be all meek and mild, or actually say, look, this is my issue? And the reason I say that about falsely convicting people, I've actually sat in the public gallery, I've watched it, and the reason why that happened, I mean, it puts a slightly different spin on it now. I was actually asked to by a police officer. I was a victim of an attempted mugging, and they said, we think we've got the person in mind who we want for it, but before you actually do the ID parade, this is the person. Actually sit in court, you'll get a good look at them in the public gallery there. You can do that. So I had a couple of visits to the court to have to try and identify this person first, which I later found out is like completely, the police should not be doing that.
I was about to say exactly that. Is that strictly legit to do that?
Absolutely not.
Because that's like, you know, a court is never told about previous convictions, or very rarely told about previous convictions, for good reason. I understand that. But you clearly were, because you were invited to a courtroom to watch your potential perpetrator.
Yeah, then they said, if you come to the ID parade in a couple of months' time, when we've got that set up, you'll be able to pick him out. And again, when you look back at that, again, in hindsight, with looking how actually people can get wrongly convicted, that's how it can happen. And that's why I just think, go back to the point, you can lead to all kinds of grandstanding that genuine criminals will then take up and go, oh, if I can do that, then maybe people will believe me. It doesn't lead anywhere good.
That's a good point. Simon, thank you very much for that. That's an extraordinary point about being invited to go to a court case just to check out the person that might be the perpetrator of the crime against you. Mark in Surrey says, you keep saying that criminals may play up and hurl abuse, but